I was supposed to like turn it on, put it on to like, I don't know, drains, rinse and spin. But it continued by itself anyway. Yeah, I really don't know how that happened. Possibly because I turned it back to Easy Care 60. Maybe that's what it was already. Maybe it just was meant to start that cycle in the first place and it never did. Anyway, well, the brushes do work. I'll just drain it out. And then we'll put it on a 90 watt. Yeah. Drain pump works fine. Alright, put some powder in, let's test this out. I've got a couple of towels in. I'm not going to put citric acid in, simply because of where it's sort of come from. I know where it comes from and it has extremely soft water. But, I'll just show you something. You can tell which option's been used the most. I close it. So one good thing about doing this with brushes is that you should bed the brushes in a little bit better. It sounds like those brushes, they're pretty quiet. They're approved copies from eBay, so I won't have copies from eBay because the £2 ones are just way too loud. Whereas if you do the non-genuine ones from, like the copy ones from eBay, so you get electric part ones instead, and they're only about £9 for a set. So as opposed to like genuine Bosch ones, which are like £25. I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with the Bosch, so that's why I put the Siemens up now on. The Siemens needs an actual clean out. The Bosch has been used properly at 60, so the dial's kind of faded on one side, whereas the Siemens has been used at 30 for a lot of its life. Changed the door seal on the Siemens because it was horrifically filthy. It was wrapped up and the filter was never taken out, which made it worse. But it was already bad even when I picked it up. Anyway, now. This is a little bit heads up. So if you're seeing this is genuinely happening properly in the future. We've got a basic top of the range Siemens versus a basic Bosch. These were both made at the same time, and of course Bosch and Siemens are the same company. But, and when you see it, this Bosch was made in the Ballet factory, and that one's made in Germany. So that's made in Spain, and that's made in Germany. You can tell simply because of the back. That's how you can tell. But I think the programming is quite a lot different as well. Like, it'd be very similar and very close. But even from the off now, I can tell difference. You can tell difference even with today's ones. Difference between a base model Series 4 and a Series 8. Although I've not done it yet, and it will come. Right, so the Bosch is about 60 at the minute. In fact, actually the Siemens as well. It's probably even hotter than it, because it's feeling warm through the heat shields. Oh, and the noise, by the way, is my wetback. That's definitely nearly, maybe about 80 now. Cool. Not too bad actually, suspension on this. I've seen worse. Mine's more unhealthy. Just a bit. Right, so the Bosch Classics has just finished. Just a little heads up, the Bosch Classics, the wash lasted longer, but the rinsing and spinning took shorter. This is on its final spin, and you can hear the pump. So what we're going to do is this. Done. I'm going to pull the machine out, I'm going to put it on its back so all the water stays in. You shouldn't add too much water in just due to the fact that hang on, will this actually resets the cycle, or will it still be in cycle? No, it's reset it. Yeah, it's still doing it. Right, give me a second. Right, so I managed to actually do it just about. This might trip. Some of the water's gone between here, so you know, there's a possibility that we've now tripped the flood sensor. But anyway, the pump, I've now worked out. If the pump blade goes back a bit, now it's being magnetised. It goes magnetised. If I pull it forward, if I pull it forward, it goes magnetised. If I push it back, it becomes unmagnetised. Sometimes. Right, all I want to do is drain it out. That's all I want to do. Drain it out and spin the towels. And then we'll have a look at replacing the pump again. Just drain! Maybe I should sort the suspension out on this. Yeah, Adidas. Adidas washing up balls are actually quite strong. Right, so we've finally replaced the pump on the Siemens IQ. We've actually not only had to replace the pump, we've had to replace the housing too. I just nicked the pump off that Bosch Classics Broken Spider. It all fits. But before we start, there's something else I need to address, and that is the weight sensor. Where is it? Apparently you can set all the settings just by, you know, holding these, I think. Yeah. So let's try and reset it. We'll go to English. No. Let's put it in test mode then. Give me a second, I just need to search back up again. What's that? Right, errors. Last error, 38. Safety. Let's have a look then. So error 15 we've had once. Error 22 we've had once. Error 23 we've had once. And then we've had error 38 6 times. Alright, so we'll test this all in one go anyway. Fill, motor. Door, motor, pump, heat. Valve 1, 2, 3. We'll do the test automatically then. Valve 1. Valve 2. This is actually important because we need to make sure the pump works. Moves that way. Moves the other way. Pump on. Interestingly, heat does come on briefly. Heat pump seems to be working fine. Camera straight away. That's good. Doors unlocked. Sensor works on that as well. It's good. Motor, variant, display, keys, Nivel, sensor. That's the one. Load. Out of 38. So our load sensor's not working. That's over 38 for you. try... Right, so... Let's test the CDA's washer at the fan now, and I'll attach the fan back. That goes to Henry. No, George. That goes to George. Okay, so the fan does work. It's not like it's the healthiest. Why it's been unplugged, I don't know, because the actual, obviously when we put it on half an hour, the heater didn't trip. But anyway, let's push it a bit more now. So we put 2 towels in. I think 50 minutes should be alright. I'm not really too bothered if the towels don't fully dry. In what case of, does the heater work? That definitely hot. Definitely working. And just all round working. I'm not entirely sure why the fan was even disconnected in the first place. Yes, it's not exactly the healthiest fan in the world. I'm going to take it out and clean it. Hopefully that will work. But it works! That means that when we get the chance to, when I get my new camera at some point to replace the old, not this one, the top one, that I use, we will do a 95 with drying. Or something similar along the lines, I'm not sure yet. Let's test this sensor out on this, couple of towels. Cottons. Near cupboard dry, I suppose. See what happens. You see that it dries fine and the heater works. But does the sensor work? Could have a bad sensor. Let's see what happens then. Leave it going. Right, so the hot point's still drying. There's no sign of ending yet, I suppose. I don't know. It's quite noisy in here now. We've now got 3 tumble dryers on the go to try and dry everything. And the Creed are up there, behind there. They're all on. Anyway, so I think we need a new. If I was to do this absolutely perfectively, we need a new fan. Since that, you can actually see the wobble on it. Yeah. In fact, there's bits of it but broken somewhere. Hang on, let me just disconnect it. Could be the shaft itself, actually, a little bit. Right, because of how much this is rotted. Look, this brass is absolutely fine, but the bolt it attached to, not. Unlikely ever to get a replacement. This is because it being a Slital machine, and they went defunct in 2005, it's very unlikely I'm going to get a dryer fan. But at least we know it works. So I'm just going to run it as is for the videos and stuff. So there we go. There's a little bit of noise, but hey ho, we know that it's not too detrimental. Right, so this has been drying now for about 90 minutes. It should have been dried ages ago, and it's still heating. I think it's safe to say that it's not working. It's all fully dry. So what we're going to do is just put some normal drying in and go from there. It jumped out! Right, let's take a look at this. This was off the street. But when I say it's off the street, there's a little present. So you just came to the back door of my workshop. So very few people know I actually exist here. So don't know who exactly it was. That was being said, you know. So and it was just dumped outside the back of the workshop.
Might be from next door, who knows. But anyway, I'm guessing, I've not even plugged it in, I've just plugged it in just to see if it lights up. But even when I just looked at it, I spun the drum, I checked, spider's fine, checked the drum, you can hear the brushes wearing away fine. The filter had been mostly taken out. That suggests to me that it's not draining. No, it's got the heater error. So I'm just going to stick it on the 59-minute wash. I'm just going to put in some powder just to prove the point. And just get rid of the smell since it's probably been done on. There's quite a lot of build up in there of gunk. And we'll see if it heats, locks, it fills. Bet you any money, it'll come up with EO3, it'll drain, come up with EO3, and we'll need a heater. I just know it well. Not going. Maybe not. Maybe it is the brushes. Although it doesn't make a brush sounding noise. Maybe it is the brushes. Interesting. I mean, it is an older machine. I kind of expect this now, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. Yeah, I reckon it's brushes. Right, okay. Probably stop now. Ready? No. It's not a heater. Yeah, it's kicked out now because it can't do anything. Okay. Right, we'll get some brushes, we'll stick them on, and then hopefully that will be the end of that. Right, let's test this. It has got its condenser, it has got its bottom plate. I've just taken them off. It's got its filter as well. Anyway, I'm going to go get more out the car. Right, but let's see if it should work. I paid... I think I paid 20 quid for it. Can't remember. This front panel is very rusty. Also, what's interesting is that this is a Candy, just a standard timer. Okay, maybe it needs a capacitor then. It was sold in full working order though, that was daft thing. It's a good job I've got hundreds of spares. It's still working. That's interesting. Ah, cool. Okay, we'll stick the capacitor on and then we'll see if it works. I'm glad I paid 120. I actually paid 20 quid, fully working, but that's also the most I'll probably pay anyway. At the minute, 20 quid for a condenser, even if it's broken, is kind of sort. It's actually worth paying 20 quid for. Maybe not in this condition, but even so, we'll do that. Got hot there. It's definitely getting hot. Let's take this off. Now my stereo should be a bit different now. Well, we've got normal and low cut. Mic out. Well, can you have a separate mic? This is really cool. Right. We'll go get that sorted then. So, anyway, we need a Hoover down anyway. So, if it needs a capacitor, we'll strip it down, we'll Hoover it out, we'll put it back together. I'm gonna actually replace this front, possibly. They're all the same. The opening's the same, the filter's the same in all of them. It doesn't matter whether you've got the square door or the round door, it's exactly the same. I've got a spare, I think, round door opening and round door. So, all that will go on instead. Just to tart it up a bit, you know, with the paint missing. Should be alright. 8 kilo, isn't it? Really nice. Let's test this out. So, bought it, it's broken. It's actually the dryer that's broken. But I'll tell you what's happened. So this was under a care plan with D&G. D&G came out. They said it wasn't drying properly. So I presume that it was getting hot, but it wasn't getting hot enough. So the first thing they did was reprogram they put a new board in and programmed that. Then it still carried on. So the second one came out and then cleaned the condenser tubing out and stuff like that. Cleaned all that out. Still not happening. Third one attempt came out and reprogrammed the board to an older model. I presume then it makes it hotter. Still doesn't work. Why has nobody checked what I think it is? Oh, and also, to add insult to injury, whoever pre-programmed it the third time, I don't know what's happened, but somehow they've managed to fill up with water, but only it won't go through the main wash or the fabric softener. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on wash and dry. Let's see what happens. Unless it just wired up the thing is wrong. Because that's filling up through the condenser valve. Which I did suspect when she said it fills with water but not through the compartment. So, okay, we'll only do this thing. We'll come back to it. We're going to let even do its dry cycle as well. See if it's getting hot. See if the fan's working. I don't think the fan's working, and I think that's the problem. That being said, it's not actually filling with water. Oh, it is. I'm wondering, whoever's done it, I'm wondering whether they've messed about with the valves and plugged in the wiring in wrong, or they've purposely done it to make it flush out the valve completely. I mean, so far it's not even filled with water. There's no water visible in it. Yeah, that's definitely going down the dryer. There's no water at all coming into it whatsoever. We've got some water visible now. I'm surprised it just doesn't time out, actually. But that does mean that the wash cycle is going to take a bit longer. Maybe not. The wash races, it probably do the same. Right. Onwards. Filled up. So the woman did use washing powder, but for the last few cycles she used washing tablets. So I wonder if she just bought powdered tablets. Oh, apparently it's also had a new drum at some point as well. That's why it's got the titanium drum in. You gonna start washing now? I'm surprised it still hasn't given up. It's going straight. Started washing. No, it timed out. We're going to rinse in a minute and then do exactly the same, I reckon. It's not a lot of dryers on. What's going on with this washer dryer? dryer. And the fan is working. But somebody has programmed the all wrong somehow. Because how that's filling through the pre-wash. So the main wash valve and the dry air valves are swapped round somehow. We'll go on to this then while that's doing its thing. Right. I know it turns on. And I know it works. In a way. I can't actually wait to get Beko Pro Smart Inverter. It's got a double jet on this. How cool is that? Anyway. Gonna stick this on daily quick. At 60. I'm just gonna quickly test this out. So what it's sold as is making a noise. Not necessarily on the spin, just making a noise. So I took a punt on it simply because I thought, well, if it is the bearings and spider, that's gonna be rare. And if it isn't, it's something that's going to be something or nothing. And you've just heard the pump kick in there. Hang on, I'll just show you. I'm going to pause it. And put it on spin and drain while I just pump up the water. That should be it. I think he's fine. Let's do daily quick. drying now on ready to wear, so I presume it is a bit of a sensor program. Huh? It is getting hot. It's getting hot. That's hot up there. Oh, I'll leave it going then. That's a twin jet, right? I wonder when it comes on. Let's have a look at this then. So, the candy condenser that I filmed 2 minutes ago, the washer also came from the exact same house. I put them both together. It was a bit of a surprise really because I only went for the dryer. I didn't realise they had this for sale as well. So let's test it to make sure it's working. We're going to put a little bit of surf in with some towels. We'll put it on there, last used program, which is day 60. They replaced they moved into a house and they bought brand new matching candy condenser and washer and dryer. I think it's called Pro Smart now or something. Anyway, so we'll test this, see. Obviously what I'm actually checking for is very common loose front weight. So we'll leave that be. Let's see, the back out warm. Probably like about 40 at the minute, maybe not that. The Hotpoint is very hot all the way round, so that's working. What's going on? So did they fix the problem after all that? Or when she said it wasn't drying, is she put it on sensor drying and it's not working? I don't know. I know this is ready to wear, but it doesn't really sensor dry, it just runs half an hour-ish times. I'm baffled now. But you know, the best way to do that is to we'll run an auto wash and dry on that in a minute. Right, so the Hotpoint has now gone into cool tumble, 31 minutes remaining. It's gonna go. Hang on, key's gonna go lock. That's the end of the cycle. Yeah, that timer's not right. But it's definitely. That's not just hot, that is really, really hot. And that's around the entire drum, so the fan is definitely working, the heater is definitely working. Okay. Okay, so I can hear a pump now whirring away. keeps kicking in every now and then. Ready? But it's not draining. I don't think it's supposed to drain. It's not supposed to drain at this point because we've got 27 minutes remaining. I reckon that is the twin jet. And it can't kick in properly. And I think the drain pump itself might also be rattly, so both might need changing. Or they might just need tight. You know, the housing might just need tightening up. Like I said, when I bought this for 20 quid, I actually took a punt on it because obviously I knew full well, being Beko, it wouldn't necessarily be the bearings and the spider, it'd be very rare if it did. But I do know how notorious these pumps are to go noisy, so that's what I bought it on that basis, and it looks like so far right. The only other thought was that the concrete weight started coming loose. Can happen, did happen on the older Bekos, certainly in the early days, but not now. On actual drain, draining out, so yeah, it sounds like the power jet isn't working. That also being said, the top jets are pretty clogged on it. Got something in it anyway, so we'll go with that. That goes on its final spin. Bosch was already at 40, maybe even towards 50. The one thing that Vestel could do right is that their 60-minute washers were 60 degrees. The only downside was that they only needed 1 minute. Okay, maybe not 60 degrees. This is the start of draining. That's cute. Yeah. Alright, the Bosch is fully working. Beko just needs its jet sorting out. Hotpoint needs its valve switch over, and the candy is also working. Oh no, capacitor. Cool. The jets work! Look at that! That's cool. So we know it doesn't work on heating. It only works when it's in wash mode. That's working. The pump's still slightly noisy, but nothing detrimental. I can. I'll probably look at the pump at another point before I start filming. So I'll do that.
Right. So we'll take a look at this, see if this works. So it's a Bosch vented dryer. It should be fully working. Well, it leaks. It's whether the sensor drying seems to work, but I'll just test it on 1 hour first. Not been used in quite a long time. Obviously, there's no hose on the back. Attach it to my energy meter thing so we can run. Should call it running about 2 kilowatt. So I think this only runs around about 1.8 kilowatt heater. That's 200 for the motor. Let's take a look at this then. It's a Bosch WAS 24469GB. Yeah, any idea what it is yet? Apparently it's tripping electric. Obviously not immediately. Apparently it's tripping electric on spin. Obviously it turns on. Yeah, so we've actually got this one, which is... So this is actually... I can't actually wait. I'm actually quite excited to use it. It's one of the very first generation Logix 8. So these came out, I think, quite be right or wrong, around 2005, 2006. So you had the Logix 8, the XL7, the Classic 6, and then the Max 5. Everyone generally had the Classics. I remember going into some houses having the XL7, but I never actually saw a Logix 8 in person, other than in the store. Apparently it's tripping electric on the spin, but key thing to note is this. This is because it's looking like the door's kind of dropped, but mostly the door's kind of loose. I think it just needs like tightening up a bit, really. So you can see where it's kind of worn actually on the door lock itself, which might be the actual issue. Because if I spin the drum by hand, it's fine. Well, the motor sounds fine, but anyway, to actually lock it, you got to lift the door up. Go slam. There we go. I can't wait to work because it's got power wash. Look, this is cool. As well as cottons. So cottons. Whoa, Normal 60, 1 hour 36. Cotton stains, which is subsequently actually eco. There you go. Wash plus 3 hours 25. Yeah, cotton stains, wash plus equals eco. So, yeah, 3 hours 25. That's a really, really long time. Even back then. Yeah. It was also the first generation, both this and the XL7 had the first generation of Super Quick 15. Which could also go up to 40 back then. So nothing's really changed, has it? Can it go to 1200? Yes, it can. Anyway. I'm going to start with drain. Draining fine. Huh? Like I said, the motor sounds fine as well. Yeah, that's fine. Nah. Spin pattern's a little bit different on this. I'd say. So she's not level. That's amazing, really. Okay, so maybe it's not... Might not be to do with the motor. Might have an inkling it might be something else. And I reckon... So, when I had the machine on its side, this has a bottom plate, this has a bottom cover, and in that cover it has a water anti-stop thing. But what if it has a very, 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 very small leak somewhere where it's leaking onto the motor? That might cause it to trip. I mean, might just need brushes. Brushes sound fine though.